Here's a hard truth. 95% of creatives delay investing simply because they hate spreadsheets. Every month you wait, that mistake costs you. It's a silent tax that can chip away over $10,000 from your future by year's end. That's a dream client, a new studio, or 6 months of freedom just left on the table. Stop accepting that. Together, let's build your wealth without ever having to look at a spreadsheet again. I'll show you how. Before we dive in, I want to be crystal clear. I'm a financial educator, not a licensed financial advisor. The ideas we talk about here are for educational purposes, to help you build awareness and ask better questions. This isn't personalized financial advice, so please always consult with a qualified professional for your unique situation. Okay, let's get into it. The reason spreadsheets feel like such a barrier isn't just about the numbers, it's about what they represent. For so many of us in creative fields, there's this deep-seated belief that our identity as an artist lives on one side of a canyon, and the identity of a wealth builder lives on the other. We're taught, often subtly, that our craft is pure and commerce is corrupting, that to focus on money is to sell out, to cheapen the very soul of our work. This internal conflict creates a quiet shame around money. It's why we hesitate to raise our rates, why we feel like imposters when negotiating a contract, and why we tell ourselves we're just bad with money. It's a story we use to protect our creative identity from what feels like a cold, transactional world. We undervalue our financial future because, on some level, we've been conditioned to undervalue the commercial worth of our own creative output. So when it comes to investing, it feels like the ultimate betrayal, the most soulless, spreadsheet-driven activity imaginable. But this separation is a modern myth, a limiting belief that keeps talented people from achieving true freedom. So how do we heal this divide? What if building wealth wasn't about becoming someone else, but about applying a timeless principle that the most enduring creators have always understood? That principle is the time law of value exchange. And at its core, it's incredibly simple. You create something of value for the world, and in return, the world gives you value back. This isn't a cold corporate concept. It's the fundamental rhythm of a sustainable creative life. Think about it. Every photograph you take, every line of code you write, every melody you compose, it's an act of creation that solves a problem, evokes an emotion, or brings beauty into someone's life. That is tangible value. The money you receive isn't a necessary evil that corrupts your art. It's a direct reflection, an acknowledgement of the value you just gave away. It's the energy you get back to refuel your own life so you can continue to create. When we see money this way, not as the goal, but as the reciprocal flow of energy, the entire dynamic shifts. It's no longer about selling out. It's about creating a sustainable cycle. You pour your soul into your work, the world receives that value. And it sends value back to you so you can rest, learn, grow, and pour your soul into your next project with even more depth and wisdom. Without that return of value, you're just depleting your own wellspring. That's the path to burnout, to taking on desperate projects that drain your spirit, and to eventually being unable to do the work you were born to do. Investing, then, is simply the highest form of this principle. It's the act of taking the stored value you've already earned from your creative work and putting it into a system where it can generate far more value for your future self, without you having to trade more of your time or creative energy. It's you, the creator, building a foundation that will eventually support your art, rather than your art having to constantly support you. It's the ultimate act of self-respect, a declaration that your future creative freedom is worth protecting. But I know value exchange can still sound a bit abstract, like a term from a business textbook. To make this principle tangible, let's use an analogy from a world we all understand intimately as creators. Think of every great piece of work you've created, a photograph, a piece of code, a song, as a master recording. When you first create it and get paid, that's like a live performance. You trade your time and energy directly for an immediate return. It's powerful, but it's finite. You have to show up and perform again tomorrow to get paid again. Investing is different. It's the act of taking that master recording and putting it into a distribution system. Now, that same creative work can be licensed for a film, streamed millions of times, or sampled by another artist, all while you're sleeping or working on your next project. The original creative act is now working 20 for you, generating new value completely independent of your time. Your savings are your master tapes sitting in a vault. They're precious, but they're dormant. Investing is the process of building the infrastructure, the record label, the streaming platform that allows those assets to go out into the world and compound. You're not just moving numbers around. You're giving the stored energy of your past creative work a new job, to build a future where you have the freedom to create purely from a place of passion, not pressure. The principle is timeless, and the parallel is clear. The value you create can and should create more value for you. So what's the internal barrier that stops us from treating our own financial future with the same creative respect we give a master recording? That barrier is the identity we've been handed, the artist. It's a romantic but ultimately powerless role. The artist creates, suffers, and waits to be discovered. They are a passenger, hoping the world values their work enough to keep them afloat. This identity absolves us of financial responsibility, but it also strips us of our agency, leaving our future in the hands of clients, algorithms, and luck. The necessary shift is an evolution of that identity, from the passive artist to the proactive, creative professional. A professional doesn't just make things, they steward the entire life cycle of their creations. This means taking radical ownership of the value you generate. You are the CEO of your own one-person creative enterprise. The money you earn isn't just for paying bills, it's the capital that fuels your business, protects your intellectual property, and funds your future innovations. This isn't about becoming a suit or losing your soul. It's about honoring your craft enough to build a resilient foundation beneath it. A professional ensures their work can thrive for decades, not just survive until the next paycheck. Investing, seen through this lens, is no longer a betrayal of your art. It is the ultimate act of a steward, a CEO making the strategic decision to guarantee the long-term viability of their enterprise. So, the mindset shift is this. Stop seeing yourself as a creator at the mercy of the market and start seeing yourself as the director of your own creative legacy. Now, let's distill this entire philosophy into a simple, actionable blueprint to get you started today, without a single spreadsheet in sight. So this is the blueprint's foundation, the one essential shift you need to make. It's not about numbers, it's about identity. It's the deep understanding that the value you create with your art deserves to be protected and grown. This is the move from seeing yourself as a passive artist to embracing your role as the proactive, creative professional, the true steward of your own legacy. Building wealth isn't selling out, it's buying your future freedom to create without compromise. Before we dive into the simple, automated tools that bring this to life, I want to hear from you. What's one story you've told yourself about money that's held you back? Share it below. Let's bring it into the light. And if you're ready to build a life where your creativity is fully supported, make sure you subscribe. We're just getting started on this journey together.